Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a book review for you called To Catch a Dream, and this is by Audrey Carlin. It is book number 2 in the Wish series, and the first book was called What the Heart Wants, and that book I believe came out last fall or early winter. And that book was a remarkable book, and this one was as well. I really enjoyed this book, and I actually gave it 5 stars. Now, this book really had a great impact on me, and one of the reasons is not only is it the second book in a delightful series, but I'm also reading a book called Sacagawea by Annalee Waldo, and maybe on page 1000 or so, but I'm reading the book in sections. In between every, say, 200 pages or so, I go and I read another book. So I came across To Catch a Dream and this What the Heart Wants in this book, To Catch a Dream. And Sacagawea is about a young Indian or a Native American woman who got chosen to accompany Lewis and Clark on the expedition, and it also is the story of her life after that expedition. So I'm already in that mindset of reading about this amazing culture, this beautiful culture. So when I started reading To Catch a Dream, which admittedly I read before I read book 1 in the series. So when I started reading this book, I was really impressed because this character is half Native American, Comanche, and so that gave the book an extra buzz. And then to make the book even more enticing for me as a reader, the love interest in this book is full-blooded Native American. So those were reasons that the book drew me in right away. Now, the way the book starts, or the series starts, is Evie Ross and her sister Suda Kay have lost their mother, and when their mother died, they both received a packet of letters, and they were supposed to just open these letters yearly on their birthdays. And I believe their birthdays were on the same day, so it was when Suda Kay was 18 and Evie was 20 that the letters they opened on that day took their lives, which were they were very close. They were roommates. Evie was about to graduate high school. Suda Kay was about to graduate high school. Evie was in college. They were living together. They were quite happy, but their lives took opposite directions on that letter. Now, during their lifetime, they watched their mother flit in and out of their lives because she had the wanderlust spirit. It was kind of like the way she described it to her daughters. Her feet would itch in. When she would get that feeling, she would have to travel the world. And their father was in the military, and whether he was serving at a different military base or off on a mission, he wasn't often with them. But when the father was able to be local, the mother would come back and they would live as a family unit. But for the most part, Evie and Suda Kay lived most of their lives with their grandfather, a full-blooded Comanche elder on the reservation. And that's how they grew up. They were quite happy. They played, they learned, they gained a lot of experiences. Well, now they're 18 and 20. So as I mentioned, their lives went in different directions from this point on. Now, Suda Kay, as if you read the first book, What the Heart Wants, she took off and she traveled just like their mother did for quite a number of years. But not so for Evie. She stayed put. She finished college, she got her degree, and she developed a very successful career in finance. So every year they were reading these letters, and now 10 years have passed, and Evie is now 30 in this point in the story. But there is an experience that comes into play in Evie's life, because at this point, before I tell you about that experience, Suda-Kay is back. She's married to someone named Cameron, happy as a lark, has a business like a boutique that she opened, and sometimes Evie will model for her. Sometimes they dance together. They're back. Their friendship and relationship is back. But Suda-Kay wants something more for Evie. If Suda-Kay is so happily in love, then she wants that for her older sister. She wants her sister to find that love. So when someone named Milo Chavez expresses an interest in Evie, Suda-Kay pushes Evie in that direction. Milo, I'm sorry, I don't know why I just said Mike. Milo has been paying Evie attention, and now Suda-Kay wants Evie to respond to that attention. Now, Evie and Milo, they do have a past as children. When she was 8 years old, she was severely being bullied and had a terrible experience, and Milo saved her from that experience. So he became an instant hero to Evie, even to the point where she fell in love with this boy when she was 8 years old, and he was always in her heart. Well, now all of a sudden he's getting in touch with her, and he wants to propose a collaboration regarding their business and finance, because he's also a finance whiz. So he wants the two of them to come together in business. But it doesn't take very long for Evie and even Suda-Kay to know that Milo wants much more than a business relationship with Evie. So I find this to be a wonderfully warm story, because while Evie is trying to navigate how she feels about Milo now, we get to see the challenges that Evie faced growing up. Now, Evie had a difficult time. Yes, they were happy when they were with their grandfather. They were happy when they spent their years together as sisters with a tight bond. But Evie was dark and dark-haired like her mother and grandfather, Suda-Kay was dark and dark-haired like their mother and grandfather, but Evie was light and was fair and blonde like their father. So even though she was half Native American, she had challenges based on the fairness of her skin and the blonde in her hair. So when she falls for this sexy Native American, that's her heart's desire, but her past affects that. So there's baggage that's coming into this. It's baggage that she's been carrying on for years, and it might even present an insurmountable challenge when it comes to what could give her a happy future. I really love this book. I loved reading of the modern day Native American culture that was mixed with today's expectations. I love the reality of someone who loved their parent dearly, even though their parent wasn't always there for them. I loved the bond that they had as sisters. And I loved the fact that the sisters had letters to read for every year of their lives that helped to shape them into women and to guide them. And lastly, I loved the ending and the additional character that came into the story. And this will have an effect on both Evie and Suda-Kay's present and even their future. So I believe this is a trilogy, and I am pretty sure if there's a third book, I would almost bet on it. I know who the character would be, but I won't tell you because I don't want to spoil anything from this book, but I'm there for it. I can't wait. I hope that book does come out in the next few months, and if it does, I will be reading it. I do want to thank Harlequin and NetGalley for this book. I received it as an ARC. I'm making the video early because I have a blog tour for this book on March 5th, but the book does not release until March 9th, so this video won't go up on the channel until March 9th. But here is the review, and I hope that you read both of these books. I can tell you right now that What the Heart Wants is available in the library, because that's where I got it. I got it on Hoopla. And there's a review for What the Heart Wants on this channel. To Catch a Dream, I'm not sure when it will be available in your library, but the link for it will be in the description below. And as an Amazon affiliate, should you purchase the book, I would get a couple of pennies, but it won't affect you. I just need to say that. So please take a look at this book. You're going to enjoy it. All right. Bye-bye.